Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're putting away the standard map, the freeways, the neighborhoods. Instead, we're diving into something else, entirely the sensory heart of a metropolis, a place that really defines aspiration contradiction. Los Angeles. You asked us for a deep dive, and we listened. We're looking at sources, writings, research that treats LA less like, just a big city and more like this massive, high-contrast emotional landscape. So our mission today is to get into the air, feel the light, understand the terrain, really grasp that unique psychological footprint. Because the core thing that jumps out from all this material, it's undeniable. LA isn't simple. It's brilliant, yeah, beautiful, absolutely, but also just relentless. A study in contradiction. We're aiming to go beyond the postcard stuff, the glamour shots, and get into the sensory grit.
And you really have to start with the atmosphere itself. I mean, before you even see the Hollywood sign or the sprawl, you breathe it in. And the smell of Los Angeles, right from the get-go, it's just pure complex contradiction. You get this dry, almost arid quality, right, that carries that sharp mineral scent from the desert way out east, that inland heat you expect.
Yeah, that dry heat.
But, and this is key, that dryness is tangled up with something else, this heavy, almost floral perfume. It's the coastal humidity. Well, inevitably, that very distinct metallic tang of exhaust.
Exhaust, yeah. Millions of cars.
Millions, always in motion.
So that intersection, the ocean air meeting the dry desert air, it's a very specific signature, isn't it? Does the geography force them together over the basin?
Oh, absolutely. And what's fascinating, geologically speaking, is how this specific mix often gets trapped. It's that infamous inversion layer.
Ah, the inversion layer.
Right. Yeah, the mountains basically form a bowl around the coast. And that layer traps the emissions, traps the moisture. It concentrates this whole sensory cocktail. So you have mineral dryness, sea moisture, intense urban fumes, all held together. It creates the signature physical marker. It tells you exactly where you are.
You couldn't be anywhere else.
Nowhere else. It's the city's olfactory fingerprint, defining its boundary right there in the air.
Wow. So it's not just city smell. It's a geographical condition bottling it all up.
Yeah.
Stuck between the San Gabriels and the Pacific.
Precisely. And it really informs the entire physical experience, doesn't it? Think about how much that smell changes. You go maybe 10 miles inland versus standing right near the beach in Santa Monica. Totally different.
Right.
Coastal LA hits you with that sharp saltiness, but the inland valleys, like, the San Fernando Valley, that's all baked minerals and trapped heat. Yeah. The atmosphere itself is this constant reminder of the physical tension of the place.
Okay, let's unpack that. Moving from that complex, contradictory smell to a time of day. According to these sources we looked at, there's a time when the city is most honest. If the air is contradiction, maybe the pre-dawn quiet is where it drops the act.
It's the great hush. Yeah, the literature describes it beautifully. Those pre-dawn hours, the massive grid roads, power lines, it all just goes quiet for a moment. It's like the city's infrastructure holds its breath. One writer called it a low, cool sigh.
A sigh, I like that.
Yeah, it's this almost intimate sound, a deep exhale right before the performance begins. The whole day-long ambition engine kicks in.
That pause is interesting. A city defined by constant motion, by money moving. What does the infrastructure sound like when it pauses? Is it just silence or the absence of cars?
It's more the sound of things settling, the deep background hum of utilities, the really distant rumble of industry that never quite sleeps, but it's muffled, cooled down. It's the moment of lowest energy, when that relentless golden ambition we associate with LA is just suspended. And the light, the quality of the light then is so crucial. It's not the famous gold yet. Not at all.
It's cold.
Silver. Exactly. Ethereal. A cold silver light that hasn't found its color, hasn't found its warmth, and this cool, sort of nascent glow. It completely changes how the geography looks. Those western slopes, the San Gabriel Mountains, huge, imposing.
Yeah.
In this light, they turn to slate. Just cold, silent sentinels watching the sleeping basin. Massive, indifferent.
And down in the basin itself, if you're there at that hour, there's this detail the readings captured. Very specific, almost delicate. The palm fronds.
Oh, yes.
Silhouetted against that graying sky, they rustle. It's described as a quiet shh of secrets.
Potential. Things you only notice when the city's quiet enough for you to listen.
Feels like the time for introspection before the armor goes on.
That's the conclusion, really. This pre-dawn hour is the most honest. It's stripped of the glare, the traffic, the persona, the frantic need to make it. It's just the raw geography and the resting people, the baseline reality before the performance starts.
But, like you said, it's fleeting, tragically so, because almost immediately we shift from cool silver stillness
to intense daylight.
Yeah, The sun, as the sources put it, doesn't rise so much as it erupts.
Erupts, that's the word. It doesn't gently wake the city, it floods it. Sudden, overwhelming intensity.
And that's the psychological switch, isn't it? That famous golden light. It's relentless.
Yeah.
Aggressive, even.
Definitely. It's described not just as light, but as feeling like a physical pressure on your skin. It's not just something you see. It's an atmosphere you have to wear.
And this light, this thing that defines the city's brand, it has this dual nature, almost cruel. It perfectly mirrors the city's contradictions again.
It really does. On one hand, it is just profoundly unforgiving. That intense clarity. It illuminates everything, every flaw, every fleck of dust dancing in the air.
No hiding.
Nowhere to hide. You see the peeling paint, the cracks in the sidewalk, the dust on, well, on the unfulfilled dreams, maybe.
The harsh truth. But then the paradox kicks in. That same fierce light.
Bathes everything in impossible glamour.
Impossible glamour.
Exactly. It's the light that demands perfection, but also grants it, like a filter. Even if it's just an illusion or temporary, it just elevates the mundane into spectacle.
And the examples really bring this home. I was struck by the description of the bougainvillea.
Oh, the bougainvillea, yes. They thrive in that heat, those heavy magenta and coral blossoms. And under that relentless sun, they look completely unreal, hyper-saturated. It's described as being like a color filter has been applied to the world.
Right.
It's nature performing under maximum lighting, kind of floral maximalism, reflecting the city's whole aesthetic.
Okay, so that's the impossible glamour side. What about the unforgiving side? Where does that intense light really reveal the cracks, the flaws?
Well, it immediately highlights the divides, doesn't it? Spatially, economically. The glare hits the polished chrome in Beverly Hills, sure, makes it gleam, but it reflects just as harshly off broken glass or exposed rebar in poorer areas. The clarity is equal opportunity, in a way.
You can't ignore the infrastructure strain.
Exactly. And the smog itself, trapped by that inversion layer, it's made visible, not just as a gray blanket, but often as this subtle, persistent gold haze.
A beautiful warning sign.
That's a good way to put it. The light forces you to confront the air quality, even while making everything look kind of dazzlingly cinematic.
So the light is the city's main aesthetic tool, elevating everything while simultaneously pointing out the dust, the divisions, that intense pressure, that constant illumination. It must impact the ground beneath it all.
I want to shift now from the light, which feels almost ephemeral, to the actual physical terrain. Is the ground as soft as that golden filter makes it seem?
Not even close. Section 2 in our sources really digs into this.
Yeah.
The prickly, resilient landscape, the natural world that frames LA and frankly pushes back. Hard.
Yeah, the sources are clear. LA's natural beauty isn't gentle. It's not, rolling green hills in the English sense. It's tough, prickly, and resilient. Once you get past the manicured lawns and the concrete and look up at the hills, the Santa Monicas, the foothills of the San Gabriels, they're covered in chaparral. That dense, low, olive green scrub. And this is crucial context. It's not lush forest. This stuff is defined by its ability to survive months of drought, intense drought.
Built for survival.
It's adapted to aridity and fire. It doesn't ask permission. It endures climatic extremes.
That resilience is key. It's not just a backdrop. It's like a running commentary on the city itself.
Yeah.
So what exactly is chaparral? How does it contribute to the mood?
Well, it's mostly dense, woody shrubs, things like sage, manzanita, scrub oak, engineered for survival. And part of that survival mechanism, it's highly flammable. It actually needs fire periodically to clear out old growth and release seeds for the new.
Wow, okay.
So that inherent characteristic, the constant risk of wildfire, sometimes catastrophic, that's a huge psychological element.
Right. You're living surrounded by something preparing to burn.
Exactly. It plays deeply into the psychology of living there. Everything feels a bit temporary, potentially volatile. The beauty is always edged with danger.
And the sensory detail here is amazing. Hiking those dusty trails, stepping over dried sage, wild mustard, what happens?
Your boots kick it up. The friction releases this incredibly powerful scent.
The smell.
Yeah. Described as an intoxicating sharp spice that clears the mind. It's ancient, complex. Instantly cuts through the smog, the exhaust down in the basin.
Clears the mind. I really like that phrase, especially after we just talked about the relentless pressure of the light. Seems like an antidote.
It feels like one, because that specific scent, it really is the smell of survival. It represents a landscape that just doesn't bend easily to human wishes. It resists being tamed, being kept green year-round. It's the tough, arid foundation the city sits on. A constant, pungent reminder that underneath the glamour and the pools, the environment is challenging, desert-like, potentially hostile.
And that environmental reality just throws the scale of the city into sharp relief, doesn't it? That spicy scent leaves right up to the view from the ridges, described as a stunning, terrifying lesson in scale and sprawl.
Terror and awe, yeah, wrapped up together. From that high up, individuality vanishes.
Yeah.
You don't see single houses, single cars anymore. You just see this massive geometric pattern. The human imposition on the land, the cityscape is an infinite, low-slung quilt of terracotta roofs, turquoise pools, and the silvery gleam of cars.
Almost abstract, infinitely dense. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. What stands out is that contrast again. The human footprint looks vast, intricate, endless, but it's pressed right up against that tough, unforgiving scrub. The scale makes you feel tiny, instantly insignificant.
Absolutely. You see the sheer density of human ambition, millions of buildings, lives packed in that basin, but the chaparral surrounding it seems to whisper, I was here first, I'll be here after.
Yeah.
It's this constant visual check on human control, a reminder of how much effort goes into just maintaining that fragile order against drought and fire.
That terrifying scale
Yeah.
that leads us right to the ultimate boundary, the Pacific Ocean. If the mountains and the chaparral are the tough frame, the ocean is the edge of everything, often seen through that same hazy lens.
Yeah, from those high ridges, the Pacific actually looks distant, hazy, like a vast, flat sheet of hammered blue metal. It feels less like the friendly beach postcard ocean and more like this imposing, reflective surface, an immense thing that just refuses to engage with the city's frantic energy.
And that visibility factor is crucial, isn't it? Often obscured by haze. Is that just natural marine layer fog, or a mix of particulates, heat, moisture?
Often it's the latter. Especially during those strong inversion conditions, the haze acts almost like a psychological filter.
Keeping it mysterious.
Right. The ocean stays slightly obscured, never fully revealed. But even distant and hazy, it holds this subtle, distant promise of escape and infinity. It's the frontier, the edge.
Psychologically, that makes sense. It's where the dreamers look when they feel trapped. They've hit the end of the continent, literally, nowhere left to go but up or into the water.
Yeah.
Represents both limit and endlessness.
And that view really helps connect the dots, I think, on the psychological power of LA. It's the sheer daunting vastness, the sprawl, the huge mountains, the endless ocean. That geography simultaneously encourages these grand, almost crazy dreams, and it induces that profound sense of insignificance we talked about. You feel both powerful for making it all the way west and utterly tiny against the elements.
The stakes feel incredibly high because the stage itself is so immense and unforgiving. Okay, let's move from that distant promise down to the shore itself, because the sources describe a total atmospheric shift near, say, Venice Beach or Santa Monica.
It's like a microclimate reset button.
Yeah.
The oppressive dry heat of the inland areas, gone. Instantly traded for something totally different. A salt-laced fog that rolls in, cool and thick, described as a meteorological curtain descending on the dazzling sunlight, like a cool, damp blanket erasing the inland glare.
The air itself changes texture. You can feel it.
Completely. It doesn't just feel cool, it tastes different, metallic and clean. You feel the proximity of all that cold, moving seawater.
It's a physical release.
Definitely. From the oppressive dryness further in. And you see it in the communities too, right? The coastal towns have a different pace, a different vibe. It's like an atmospheric detox.
And walking along the ocean at dusk, that's highlighted as a profound emotional experience. Why profound? Usually we think of the ocean as just soothing, but this sounds deeper, less comforting.
I think it's because of the indifference of the Pacific, the waves hitting the sand. It's not a gentle lap. It's a slow, powerful rumble. And the wet sand turns into this fleeting, dark mirror. You see your reflection for a second, your hopes, your anxieties, and then poof, the next wave erases it.
Highlighting the temporary nature of, well, us, against geological time. You call the Pacific the indifferent soul. I have to ask, doesn't that very indifference, that sense of being ignored by this massive thing, doesn't that kind of fuel the ambition? Isn't it a challenge, not a comfort?
Oh, it absolutely is. The indifference is a psychological crucible. The thematic insight here is that the ocean watches the whole human frenzy, the deals, the traffic, the striving with this massive rhythmic calm. It is completely unconcerned with human effort or validation. And the human response to indifference, often it's to shout louder, try harder, right? The ocean provides this constant, massive counterweight to the human ego, the sound of the tide, that steady elemental rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
It pushes back against the distant siren wail of the urban heart. One is urgent chaos. The other is timeless, cold, immensely powerful.
The geography locks it in. You feel the continent ending right there. Rock, water, and endless human aspiration colliding. The Pacific doesn't offer a warm hug. It offers scale and permanence, forces the human drama into this harsh, humbling perspective.
And that perspective is just fundamental to understanding the city's constant high-stakes energy.
Yeah, that's a really powerful transition.
Yeah.
Because as we move into our final section, we have to come back to the star, the light. Not just physical, but artistic, psychological. Bringing all these contradictions into focus, it's stated again and again, the light is LA's most captivating feature. The reason artists, storytellers flock there. But crucially, they don't call it friendly. They call it an unforgiving medium that reveals truth.
And if the light reveals truth, then filming in it, living under it, means you're capturing existence in a state of maximum intensity, often painful intensity. We should focus on late afternoon, the golden hour, especially up in the canyons, Hollywood Hills, Mulholland Drive.
Right.
That's when the sun starts dropping. The light shifts from being an oppressive flood from above to this focused beam. Low and horizontal, cutting across the landscape. That's not soft anymore. It's like a powerful directional laser defining every edge.
And the effect of that horizontal light, immediate drama, it emphasizes shadow like nothing else.
Exactly. Deepens the contours of those dry hills, casts those long, dramatic silhouettes of the Mexican fan palms lining the streets. Everything gets sharp separation, high contrast.
It's maximum visual drama. Every scene looks lit.
That's the cinematic hour. Everything, from a faded stucco wall to a huge mansion, looks like a movie set. Polished, saturated, and charged with potential. You can almost feel the energy humming off the ground. Possibility or desperation.
But the key analysis here, the thing that ties it all together, it's critical. LA's golden hour isn't just about pretty colors, it's about tension.
Absolute tension. Yeah, tension between the flaw that's revealed and the impossible glamour layered over it. Tension between the long, dark shadow and the blinding light heading whatever's in front. It's high stakes, visually and psychologically. It demands resolution or performance, which is why so many key movie scenes, the confrontation, the big realization happen then. The light ramps up the emotion.
And that tension, it kind of resolves into this geometric calm after sunset. When you look down from Mulholland, the city transforms again into a mesmerizing, silent cosmos.
It's the moment of sudden organization. Millions of lights. Yes, seemingly random, but they're not. They form patterns, grids. The sheer imposition of human structure onto the land. A silent, stunning map of energy flow.
Structure emerging from the daytime chaos. And you can clearly see the flow, right, between the pitch-black canyons where no one lives and the bright, endless density of the flatlands where everyone clusters, where the ambition is concentrated.
It's a perfect map of necessity and ambition. The dark bits are the challenging, empty geography, the chaparral, the mountains. The bright bits are the relentless human need to congregate, to strive. The night view perfectly summarizes human scale versus elemental scale.
So, okay, let's synthesize all this.
Yeah.
The dry spice in the air, the golden pressure, the indifferent ocean, the high contrast light, the nighttime geometry. What is the unique psychological footprint of Los Angeles that emerges?
I think it's defined by that high contrast relationship. Its beauty isn't in pristine nature. It's in the volatile, symbiotic dance between the stark, arid, resilient landscape and the relentless, ambitious energy of its human inhabitants. They need each other, but they're constantly pulling in different directions, creating that high tension.
The natural world is the aggressive, honest frame for it all.
Precisely. The city's core identity is that tension. The nature here, the prickly scrub, the slate mountains, the vast Pacific. It's a tough, beautiful frame for the high-stakes human drama playing out under that intense sun. You come here to be tested by the light, framed by the elements. It's a place that strips away illusion through sheer environmental pressure.
Wow. Okay, so our deep dive has definitely been sensory. From that contradictory morning smell through the sun's golden pressure, the spicy resilience of the chaparral threatening to burn, all framed by that light in the night patterns. It really comes across that Los Angeles is a physical challenge, maybe just as much as a cultural or economic one. The environment itself demands serious endurance just to exist there.
And that brings us right back to contrast and testing. If that LA light is truly unforgiving, how does that constant pressure, physical, visual, affect the dreams? The quality and maybe more importantly, the sustainability of the dreams fostered under that impossible glamour. Is it a place built for the long haul, for endurance? Or is it really geared towards high intensity, maybe short-term performance? performance?
That's the lingering question.
It is, and it's the question we want to leave you with. What does that tough, spice-scented chaparral, the stuff that faces fire and rebirth constantly, what does it teach us about the kind of raw endurance needed to thrive? In a place defined by such intense geographical and psychological extremes, the landscape demands resilience. Does the human ambition ultimately match it? Or is the effort, in the end, inevitably fleeting against that backdrop? Something to think about.